school's the whole ball of wax. I don't think we're taking it seriously.
I wonder if the way to think about that is we're not taking the connection from the agent to the society seriously, because I think people inside of schools would say they're taking it seriously.
Yeah, no, I think they are, but we as a society are not taking it seriously. We're not understanding the downstream effects of generation after generation getting less and less educated. And even being scientific about what we mean by educated.
Right.
What does an educated person look like? What does preparation for adulthood look like? And even what is the purpose of education? Is the purpose of education to get people jobs? That's a sort of limited view that we're just training workers. Is the purpose of education to train, take children and train them for adulthood? I think that's a much more accurate definition. And adulthood includes a lot of things. You're going to have a family. You're going to have finances. You're going to have friends, you're going to have a job, you're going to have all these different things. You're going to have a physical body.
Yep.
You're going to have emotions. You're going to have thoughts.
Right.
You're going to have problems. You're going to have to be resilient. There's you're going to have to show character in various situations. Where is that? Where is that in the curriculum?
Right. Because right now it seems like there's an emphasis on what people would call sort of basic literacy, curricular content, standards. It depends on what state you're in.
Yeah, but people say we got rid of the Common Core. Those were standards, but we still have state standards. I mean, there's always standards somewhere, and you can look at the standards and you can read them and you can see what they are.
Yeah.
And the question is, are those standards reflective about what we know about learning scientifically?
Right.
In other words, we know a lot about how learning happens and what kids need to learn that we don't implement. And there's a lot of good things out there that aren't being implemented. And there's a lot of stuff out there that's being implemented that is pretty lackluster, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a pretty healthy disrespect for the profession of teaching, frankly. I mean, the amount that we pay them.
Yes.
The way we manage them. Overmanage them.
Yeah.
The way we don't let them teach.
Yeah.
We don't let them do the thing that they got into the profession originally because they loved teaching and they loved working with young people. And if that's not why they're in teaching, then they shouldn't be, Yeah. But most teachers, that's why they're in teaching. And then we don't let them teach. We don't pay them enough.
We don't elevate the profession.
We don't elevate the profession, right?
Well, I think that's an important distinction when you say education is lackluster. I think what we're referring to is the system, not the people.
Not the people.
Because the people are a product of the system. The people are forced to work within a system. And so when we're talking about educational reform, educational change, we're talking about that higher level systemic stuff, right? That's causing certain limitations on what people can and can't do inside of education.
Yeah. And that systemic stuff affects the people who decide to go into education and not go into education, right? So we're losing a lot of folks who are like, I'm going to go and they're going to tell me exactly what I do, what I have to do. And I have to, for all intents and purposes, operate a little bit mechanically.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I'm going to have to deal with so many things that are outside the normative area of what a teacher is trained to do, emotional issues, disorders, all that kind of stuff. And for that, I'm going to get paid very little. Mm-hmm. I'm going to get micromanaged very much.
Yes.
And I'm going to get very little, accolades or appreciation
for the work
from society.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's like if you're a surgeon, it's hard. You got to do hard work. You blah, blah, blah. You got to be good at it. But, when you say you're a surgeon, people go, oh, wow, you're a surgeon. We don't have a healthy respect for the profession of education in this country. And if you go to other countries, when we were in South Korea,
yes,
I mean, they revere teachers.
Yeah.
Teachers are at the top of the society.
As they should be. Yeah.
And education is like everywhere. It's in the equivalency of Times Square.
Yeah.
When we were down in Seoul, all the different billboards, the electronic billboards, so really expensive advertising was like it is in Times Square. There's entertainment.
Yeah.
That's some of the billboards, and technology. That's the rest of the billboards. Well, in Seoul, it's entertainment, technology, and education.
Yes.
On the biggest billboards in Seoul.
Yes.
So, there's these indicators of do we have a healthy respect for education? We should. And
definitely should.
And we need to, because people just aren't going to self-select into that job if it's like low pay and lots of micromanaging no creativity
Yeah.
and that's what they want. They want to be creative with their students.